You're like, is she wearing the same thing that she was wearing in the last video? Yes. Yes, I am. And the reason for that is that it's like 5 seconds later. Anyway, so I've got my first pumpkin spice latte of the year. So good. No makeup on. My hair's not done. Kids are upstairs watching Paddington on Nick Jr. We're just gonna roll with it. So I wanted to do this video. I've kind of wished that this was a format that other sellers did, but I almost never ever see it, especially like with Poshmark sellers. So what I'm trying to do here is, back 9 months ago, I had a haul video on YouTube where I went to an estate sale, and it was a dancer, a 1950s like dancer estate sale. And I picked up a whole bunch of stuff at that estate sale and then did a haul video. And I just feel like it would be really interesting to kind of give you the like what sold and how much did I make off of those items. Were there any bad buys? Were there any especially good buys? Yeah, so I went through, I watched that video yesterday. I wrote down all the stuff that I picked up at the estate sale. And then I went back through and checked to see how much it sold for on Posh or Etsy or eBay. And yeah, I just wanted to come back and give you an update of that haul so that you can see like when I'm going outsourcing, when I'm going to an estate sale, what is my like sell-through rate and like how much am I getting for some of these pieces. So this estate sale was the estate of Paulette Harwood. And she was a ballet dancer in the 1950s, and then as time went on, she ended up becoming a ballet instructor in her hometown. So she really had a lot of people in the community who really loved her, and she helped with a lot of production for ballets, for the studio that she, I think, owned or worked at, whichever one. I went to this estate sale hoping to find some of the like vintage costumes, but I actually ended up getting a lot of pieces that were, I'm going to say more towards like the 70s or the 80s or even some modern pieces, but honestly it turned out to be a really good turnaround for me. So I spent $90 on everything at the estate sale, and when all is said and done to this point, I've made $1,200. Gross. So that is not with fees or whatever taken out. That's still a pretty darn good return on my investment, and I do still have some pieces from that haul that I'm holding on to either for myself or to list as part of my Halloween drop that will come up next week at the beginning of September. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'll pop up the picture here of the item as I photographed it, and then I'll tell you how much it sold for. I calculated pretty much all of my cost of goods on these items when I divided up what I brought home to be about $2 an item. And so on some of these pieces, I had a really good profit. So there's a lot of pieces to get through, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. There was a soft surroundings velvet robe, and that ended up selling on eBay for $55. I don't really sell on eBay anymore. I don't enjoy it as a platform, but back when I was listing some of these things last November, December, I was selling a few things on eBay. So that sold on eBay. And then there was this leopard cardigan by Bellamy, and that sold for $24 on eBay. There was this purple burnout like mandala scarf that sold more recently, I think within the last 2 weeks, on Poshmark. It was my last scarf holdout from that lot, and it sold for $36. I had 2 face masks, like masquerade masks that I've not listed yet. Those are going to be for my Halloween drop. I had a dangly leaf hair barrette that sold for $28. I had a black scarf bow barrette that sold for $25. I really wish I had picked up more of the barrettes because she had a lot. I picked up my favorite ones, but they all sold and all for a pretty good amount of money. Except for this one, which was the star barrette, which is still available in my Poshmark closet. I bought it thinking it would be really cute for New Year's, but no one has picked it up yet. I got a blue, like navy blue velvet burnout fringe scarf. That sold for $45 on Poshmark. And then I got a pink velvet fringe scarf. It was like the same thing except bright magenta pink. That one sold for $45 as well on Poshmark. There was an ombre velvet fringe scarf, which I think sold on Etsy because that one sold for $36. It sold during a sale that I had. Then more recently, I sold this bridal, like floral hair bow barrette on Poshmark. That sold for $35. I was hoping for a little bit more for that one, but it had been sitting, you know, for the 9 months or whatever. So I just decided that $35 was okay, and I let that one go recently. And then actually this week, this fairy barrette sold, and I had this one listed pretty high because I had looked up comps on it, and there were a lot that had sold around the like $65 mark. I think I had it priced around $80, but I ended up getting $50 for that one. There was a sequin and black, like black and copper sequin scarf shawl thing that has not sold yet. There was a Cynthia Rowley scarf that was new with tags that was like a silk burnout. That I just listed, let's say, 2 weeks ago, and that has not sold yet. There was a leather tie belt, and that sold on Etsy. That one went for $27.20 during one of my sales. Now for one of my fails, I picked up this maroon and blue Love by Design cardigan. It was just like a big oversized like cocoon cardigan, and that one ended up going for about $6.60. I had it as part of a 3 for $20 sale. Then there were some lace rabbit ears. Those I wore to a masquerade myself back in February, and then I'm going to be listing those as part of my Halloween drop. So those have not sold yet. There was this dowdy like Christmas tree full length dress with like a sequin Christmas tree on it. That actually sold for $25, and it sold pretty quickly. Another fail was this workshop tank top that had like color or silver stars across like the front bodice part. That went for part of my 3 for $20 sale as well. That sold for $6.60. This blue scarf barrette, so she had a couple of these like scarf barrettes where she like basically took like a long scarf and then like made it into a bunch of loops. Very pretty. That one sold for $16. There was a black rose barrette, which I thought was one of the prettiest ones that I had, but it's still available in my Poshmark closet. That one has not sold yet. I think I've gotten a low offer or two on that one, and I'm just not entertaining that because I really do think it's special. It's got to find the right person, but I'm not gonna like give in on that one. I picked up this blue polka dot maxi dress that sold for $27. A Natori leopard velvet robe that sold for $71. A lilac silk scarf by Echo, and that one along with the Cynthia Rowley was one that I just listed. I was a little late listing all of my spring scarves this year, but it'll sell eventually, right? The next item was what I dubbed the Pimp Hat, and it was a like cranberry red velvet hat from the 70s with like this huge feather, And that actually sold pretty darn quickly for 30 bucks on Poshmark. I got a velvet burnout ombre blouse that sold on Etsy for $33.75 during a sale. I got a leopard print maxi skirt. That was, again, a modern piece. That one sold for $20, and that, I believe, sold pretty darn quickly as well. This leather leaf poncho that I picked up, at the time I thought it was a bit older than it was, but it was actually more like 80s, 90s piece, but I still sold that one for $50. This scarf with ballet dancers on it, which was very beautiful. It was silk, but it was not branded. That one sold for $22. There was a navy and white Vera Newman scarf. I either have that listed now or I don't even know where it is, but that has not sold. There was a black mesh like bow barrette that had all this like confetti looking stuff on it. It looked very 80s. That one sold pretty quickly. That was one of the first barrettes to sell. That one sold for $25 on Poshmark. There was also a pink beaded barrette that sold for $20. I'm pretty sure that one went on Poshmark as well. There was, oh, I loved this one. I held out on this one. I got a lot of offers on this one that I did not take, but it was a mermaid barrette with like a crystal coming out of the middle. Oh, it's beautiful. I sold that one for $40. And then I had a couple of necklaces that were really the MVPs of this haul. There is like a iridescent clear one that I ended up keeping for myself. It's like a beaded like bib necklace. Beautiful. There are some earrings that were beaded. Those I still have. I have gotten a couple of low offers on them, but they are really pretty, but they're clip-ons, so I don't know if that's hurting them or not. Then I did some research on these necklaces. It turns out that they're actually pretty rare. They're from the 1970s, and so there was one that was more of like a brown colorway, large, like draped bib necklace. That one sold for $126 on Poshmark. There was one that was purple that was like the same style. I think this is the Etsy one that sold for $100. And then there was one that had like, it was black and then had almost like corally looking stuff at the bottom that sold for $84. And then there was one that had like more of like a checkerboard pattern on the choker part that sold for $90. And I wish that I picked up more of these. She had some that were more of like they were all solid colors. They weren't as fantastic as these, but seeing what these sold for and like knowing their age, I do wish that I had picked up the other ones. But like I said in this haul video, there were no prices on anything. They were just like, put it all together and we'll give you a price. So I was a little bit afraid that they were going to go through and just like itemize everything, which really it didn't happen. They just kind of like pawed through the bag and were like, you know, and then they gave me a price. So with all of that added up, it was $1,199.15 gross. So that's like before Posh fees or Etsy fees or any shipping discounts that I gave. And then again, I paid $90 for everything. I think even just like keeping that sheer necklace that I kept from the haul, that's like 90 bucks right there at least, if not more, you know. So it's really, it was great. That was a really good estate sale. I tend to do really well with estate sale hauls, and I highly encourage you to go to estate sales if you do not already. But yeah, let me know, what did you think of this kind of like recap video? They're definitely a bit of work, but I feel like it is interesting to kind of see it as like a whole picture. Like, how did this particular buy pan out for somebody? Because I'll see somebody go to like a yard sale or they'll go to the flea market and I'll be like, okay, but how did all of that end up going? Like, what's the status, you know? So let me know what you think about this. If you liked it, if you thought it was boring, if you've seen this stuff before, I don't know. Just go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. And I will see you for my next video at some point. Bye.